Hi, I'm Matthew Goode and I am an ambassador for Jameson's Cult Film Club. So I suppose the breakout for me was Woody Allen, so if you can't enjoy being in a Woody Allen film, then you should probably stop. But that's the funny thing, is once you've absorbed all the material, suddenly you're thinking on a higher plane, you're trying to get possibly too much into your performance because you're valuing the original material so highly that you're almost looking at some of the individual frames from the comic and like, well, I have to get that position in because I don't want to have my head ripped off by the fans. It was something that he'd been thinking about doing for a really long time, and he had loved the novel, and he also knew Christopher Isherwood, but I mean, I thought it was stunning, and I think certainly Colin would. It's sort of refreshed his career. He's been seen in a different light. So Ricky, good God, they were great. I mean, honestly, him and Stephen have a fantastic relationship where they can communicate. I suppose like often happens between a director and a DOP, when you work together that long, they don't need to use language sometimes to get across what they need from each other. Filming on Stoker has finished, and talk about a cult film. I mean, Chan-wook Park is, he's we call him Director Park. Obviously, Old Boy was a huge sort of sleeper underground hit, and I can tell you what, he's one of the finest directors, and to the most minute detail that I've ever worked with. And we have this amazing cast. It was Nicole Kidman and Mia Wasikowska, who's unbelievably talented. It starts with a funeral, and you have a mother and a daughter standing over a coffin, and suddenly this sort of shadow appears overlooking the graveyard, and that's the character of Uncle Charlie. I mean, which is quite in its own sense, a cult film name of a character. And I think this actually has a chance of that kind of following. I suppose for me, I mean, I remember the first time I ever heard about cult film, I was quite young, and it was from my English teacher, and it was Withnail and I. If you've been a drama student, everyone always sees themselves as Withnail, but actually we're all probably I. Well, if you're working, you're definitely I. But I suppose, Usual Suspects for me is a blindingly good film. A great one, great story, and Spacey was phenomenal in it. Well, the great thing about Jameson Cult Film Club ultimately is that it's free, and it is set up in several. So far has been in Birmingham and Manchester and London, and it takes you out of the cinema and puts you into a mise en scène that is going to be slightly different for an audience and help create something slightly more visceral for watching it. So if you're in a warehouse watching, Usual Suspects, it's going to be slightly more than just sitting in a cinema. And it's the great thing about Jameson is that they champion independent films. Future Cult is basically an event coming up which is being held at the Saatchi Gallery. If people go onto the Facebook page for Jameson Cult Film Club, they can sign up for free tickets, which is fantastic. And it's about this film called Headhunters, which is a Norwegian film based sort of around an art thief, and who has this perfect life, but things obviously go slightly awry, and it looks unbelievable. So that's what's coming up with Future Cult.